Hey, everybody. Welcome to Cincinnati Real Producers Podcast, powered by Next Door Photos. I'm Patrick Braddock, owner and publisher of Cincinnati Real Producers.
And I'm Daniel Ziegler, owner of Next Door Photos. Every week, we're getting to know Cincinnati's top realtors.
Our goal is to elevate and inspire the real estate community throughout greater Cincinnati.
Today, we have Chris Russell, broker and owner of Plum Tree Realty. Chris has been in the real estate industry for over 30 years, and he launched Plum Tree in 2011. Plum Tree now has over 300 agents spanning 15 markets in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, and Florida. Plum Tree is currently ranked number 6 in Ohio for independent brokerages. In 2023 alone, agents at Plum Tree closed over $520 million in volume. Welcome to the show, Chris Russell.
Thanks.
Heavy hitter over here.
Well, glad to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you having me in here. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank
our
you,
pleasure.
Chris. I've known Chris for years. When we started Real Producers, I always say this because not many people picked up their phone, and Chris did. He was one of the guys who was able to sit down with me and kind of give me an insight to the market and everything like that. It was
Back in those days, nobody was calling me.
no, yeah. Well,
So-
nobody was answering me,
Yeah.
so I appreciate you answering. But I remember thinking like, man, this is a really cool conversation, and I just really connected well with you, and really enjoyed your time. And I'm excited to have you on. I'm sure Daniel is as well. But like I think we were talking pre-production. Really, what you've built has been pretty fun to watch and really cool, and a fun labor of love, I'm sure, for you. But
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. It's been a lot of changes since those days when we were doing fairly well by a lot of measurements in those
Sure.
days, which is probably why you called. But
yeah.
it's changed a lot. I guess one of the main differences since those days is we've built a big team of leaders that are leading our operations.
That's
But
awesome.
back then, it was kind of I was wearing all the hats.
Right.
We've got plenty of people wearing different hats to help navigate the waters with
Good
us.
for
so
you.
It's been fun.
That's awesome. And I mean, it seems like it had to have been a must with, especially from what you said, like the last year, adding over 125 or 130 new agents to the
Yeah.
brokerage.
That's
Like,
incredible.
you know, if you're wearing all the hats, then it becomes impossible, right? Like I feel like that's a natural step in the growth process. Before we kind of dive into that, I know Daniel, our go-to is kind of talking about you and getting to know you a little bit before we kind of dive into the brokerage. I was just kind of excited to go right into it, so I apologize. But
No, that's great.
if you want to kind of give us some insight into what you did before Plum Tree and then the thought behind starting that brokerage.
I didn't have an obvious entry path into real estate. I was actually I have my master's in counseling, and I got into ministry right after I got out of grad school.
Wow.
So I was actually a pastor for about 25 years.
Wow.
And that was joyful. But if you're a pastor, I don't know if you know much about pastor salaries, but you tend to not make a lot of money as a pastor if you do it right.
Right.
That's right. If you do it right.
Some pastors make a lot of money, and I always think, wait, how's that work?
Yeah.
But I, didn't make a lot of money as a pastor, so I always had a kind of a side thing I was doing, which started out as real estate investing. So I'd buy properties, and some of them were buy and hold, and then some were flipping. And so then there were some people in my congregation who knew that I was an investor, and they'd go out and want to buy a house. They'd say, hey, Chris, do you think you could help us find something? I know you're good at finding good deals. So I'd help them, and several times they would say, wow, that was so great. You did more than our real estate agent did. You should think about getting your license. So I heard that enough. I thought, well, maybe I should. Maybe that'd be a good way to supplement our income a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew on day one at Hondros, I knew, okay, I'm going to be a broker. That's kind of the way I'm wired. That's where I'm going to go with this. And but I thought I would be with a big national franchise or something. And I didn't think I'd actually create my own brand. So that was something that took us on a little bit of a turn. So, but, ultimately from my background, the whole point of it is about helping people. We're very passionate about helping people. So I could tell when I was in the big franchise model as an agent that the brokerages just take a ton of money. And I thought, well, why do they have to take that much money? The big national franchise takes a big percentage, and then the local. And I remember getting my first commission check, and they had taken a desk fee and a internet fee and a tech fee and a phone fee, and like they had taken thousands of dollars extra out of my check. And I was like, what's going on here? I didn't know about those fees.
Right.
And so I started kind of dreaming about a different approach. So that's kind of how we came up with Plum Tree over time. And we have a different model. I don't know if this is a good time to talk about
No,
that.
yeah, dive in.
Talk
It's
about
great.
ministry, but talk about the Plum Tree thing, because really it's an outgrowing out of ministry. Trying to help people, and so we help our agents because we have the most economical pricing model, and then that allows them to help their clients because they can, if they need to, that in a certain situation they can drop their commissions as well because it's 100% commission. Which is way different than any of the other models. But so we started in the first year, I guess the very first year, we didn't actually even recruit any agents. And I just read this last week. It was a post I made 10 years ago. And so that was in our third year of Plum Tree. And because we're 13 years old now, just this month. And in the third year, I made a post. We had just added our third agent.
Wow.
In the third year. The first year and second year, we didn't add any agents because I just wanted to make sure we had systems that I could get a contract from the initial signature all the way to the closing table. And it was good to set that up. Without training wheels, when I was at the other brokerage, they had compliance and all these people would say, hey, Chris, you need to submit these contracts, do it this way. This was without training wheels, so we had to figure out the systems. In the third year, we added 3 agents. The first one was my son, who just graduated from high school, so he was 18, not a top producer. The second person that we added was a homeless woman.
Wow.
And I didn't realize she was a homeless woman, but I could tell she needed some help. So I thought, well, okay, maybe that's what, God wants me to do, help people in this way. So we brought her on, helped her for a while. She ended up getting out of real estate, but, and then our third person was actually an agent. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah, that's good.
Sold house. But it was not a smooth beginning. It was kind of a bumpy first several years. And then we added about 12 agents in that third year, and almost all of them were investors. Okay. And because they would look at a spreadsheet and say, yep, that makes sense. They're just looking at numbers.
Right.
And then we started adding agents, and that was fun because they would they knew the value of 100% commission, and then they were able to build the brand basically.
Right.
So it's been quite a long journey, but it's been pretty fun. So
I bet.
That's awesome.
Were those early agents skeptical at all? Because sometimes when something sounds too good to be true.
Absolutely, yeah, that's exactly right. We literally wanted our business model to sound too good to be true, and then make it true. So that was a part of the challenge for us. It was intentional.
Right.
But there would be, that first couple years, I'd meet with agents. Like literally, I would send out thousands of emails and say, hey, we're adding agents. I'd love to buy you lunch next week. And my wife is like, you just invited 5,000 people to lunch next week. And I was like, yeah, but
don't worry.
Don't worry. No one wants to do this.
Yeah.
A homeless woman did.
Yeah.
And so, but, so I bought probably half of the agents in Cincinnati lunch over the next several years, and that was just what I did. You can tell, I've done that too much, but that was, I would meet with someone making 6 figures, and they'd say, okay, wow, this is really good. Interesting idea. so it's just you and your wife? I'd be like, yeah, but trust me, this is going to be great. And they're like, good luck with that, you know?
Right.
So, but it's interesting. A lot of those agents who said no way at the very beginning ended up after several years calling me back. Hey, you know, I've been watching it. It seems like it's working.
Yeah.
Once we hit about 50 or 60 agents, took us 6 years to get to 60.
Okay.
And once we hit about 60 agents, we had a critical mass, and we were able to start really taking off from there. So,
Right.
yeah. So that's kind of the basic journey of it.
Yeah.
But it's been a different approach.
Yeah. So that's really cool. But like, what separates? And you talked about it. If it's too good to be true, normally it isn't. But like, you do have a good business model and a good way to help. I almost say pass it forward. Like you know, you're from a ministry standpoint, you're helping people help people. And you know, so talk about your model a little bit and how you structured it and why you structured it.
Yeah, that's a good question. So we, in the very beginning, we started out and we have the same pricing model that we had on day one when we added the first person. And that's basically our agents pay $275 per month, and then they keep 100% of their commissions. So at the end of a year, the total amount of money that they would pay to our brokerage is just $3,300. And we have agents all the time, like every week, who join, who are in their previous brokerage paying $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year to their broker.
Right.
And we provide the same. And most of them say we give better service and support than their $50,000 a year broker.
Wow.
And we do it at just $3,300. So they keep
incredible.
100% of it, and that's a game changer because instead of paying for their brokers to advertise themselves, they can take that money and advertise their own business.
Right.
So our agents end up making, because of that, they can invest back in their own business. So they end up making about 70%, selling 70% more homes per agent per year than almost all of our competitors.
Wow.
So it's been a really good business model. And one of the things, a lot of agents get into the business, I would say 80% of real estate agents get into the business because they want a job, right? But it's not a job. There's 20% of agents that get into real estate because they want to run their own business. So people who want a job, they struggle. But people who are running a business, somehow those are the entrepreneurs. They find their way to Plum Tree. So that's been, it's people that want to run their own business.
Right.
So that model, that part of the model has been good. We did come to the realization, though, over time, that there are some agents who would prefer just to have a split and not pay the monthly fee. So we do have a no fee option, and that's basically it's a 70-30 split. But the thing that makes it really different is that it's just a $3,900 cap. So everyone else is capping at $25,000 or no cap. I actually, this shows you how agents sometimes think about math or how they don't think about math.
Yeah.
I was explaining to an agent who was in a 70-30 split. I said, well, we have a 70-30 split with a $3,900 cap. She said, oh, well, I already have a 70-30 split. I don't even have a cap. And I was like, do you understand what you just said? You don't have a cap. That means they'll keep taking your money forever.
Yeah.
We stop at $3,900. We stop taking your money.
Oh my
So
gosh.
a math course for agents might be a helpful thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
Or at least terminology. It's like maybe she just didn't understand what that word meant.
Right.
Wow.
yeah. So that was good, and we were able to with that. Then we've been able to add a lot of agents who don't really want a monthly fee, and that's been helpful.
Yeah.
The other thing that we do that's a little bit different, we have a revenue sharing program, and it's different. It's not an MLM. It's not like Amway or something like that. It's basically if an agent recruits another agent, we'll pay them $1,000 right up front.
Wow.
And then, because I talked to an agent yesterday who's with one of these MLM brokerages, and she said in the first year, like she recruited an agent, and it took her a year to get $40 for recruiting that agent. So a lot of a lot of these other approaches don't end up paying off. With ours, we pay $1,000 right up front, and then every time the agent that they recruited closes a deal, then we pay them another $100. So so the idea that we want to get our agents recruiting each time they do a transaction, they can recruit the agent, and if they can do that about 12 times a year and do that for 5 years, that's about a $60,000 a year residual income that they can develop.
That's
so
wild.
Yeah.
and 60,000 may, some people might say, well, that's not a lot of money. Okay, well, what's your current brokerage?
Right.
What are they
Right.
giving you after 5 years?
Right.
Probably not a lot. So
Right.
Interesting.
so that's kind of the basic hub
Yeah.
of our model.
That's
Well, I think
great.
it's brilliant. I think, one of the best parts of that, what you just told me, is what you still provide. Because I think a lot of these, other brokerages that might be, similar in some ways to what you're doing are not providing the same level of CRMs and things like that you are, and the services that you provide. And I think that's incredible because it's really valuable for an agent.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because in the first couple years that we started, we were known as the cheap brokerage.
Right.
So people were like, why should you go to Plum Tree? Well, they're cheap. And I got to thinking about that after a while. I'm pretty competitive.
Uh-huh.
And so I thought, well, I don't want to be the cheap brokerage. I want to be the best.
Right.
And it's funny. I know I know you work with the top producing agents, and they're probably all pretty competitive. But the way my competition works, I've had a list in my bathroom for years, ever since we started Plum Tree, of the brokerages that had a higher agent count than Plum Tree. I've got that list on my mirror, and every day when I'm brushing my teeth, I'm looking at the list, and I'm just like, I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you.
Wow.
We've been moving up the list since the beginning, so that's been fun.
That's pretty cool.
But but I didn't want to be just cheap. I wanted to be the best, and I thought we put some thought into that. What do you need to be the best? So we came to a realization, well, we have to be the best, definitely with pricing, but we want to be the best with training, and we want to be the best with technology, and then we want to be the best with branding. So those were kind of the hills to die on that we definitely wanted to go after. So at that point, we invested in KV Core software, which we rolled out for agents, one of the top CRM packages for agents, lead generation CRM, and provided that for free along with our package. We also struck up a partnership with Rebus University, so we can offer basically $10,000 worth of classes for free. They're online classes, and they can get 8 different certifications. Wow. So they can become a certified listing agent, a certified buyer's agent, a certified investment specialist, certified team leader, just a whole bunch of these great certifications.
Right.
And so training's big. We also have 2 graphic artists who work on our team, so we provide free custom graphic design services for our agents. So if it's print design or digital design, we've got them covered. And I've been at brokerages before where they have designers, but then you pay them every time you want a postcard or something. Yeah, that'll be $50. Oh.
Yeah.
So you're paying a lot of money.
Yeah.
We wrap all that into just the $275 per month. So
That's awesome.
or the 70/30. So
Yeah.
all that coming together has helped our agents to be able to
Yeah.
sell a lot
you're
more.
not the cheap brokerage anymore. You're the value. You got a lot of value packed in there.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, that's the great combatant to that comment. It's like, do you want to call this cheap? Do you want to call that cheap? Or do you want to call it efficient and helping our agents grow? Like, maybe we should have a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
We another thing that struck us pretty early on as well is that agents seem to be looking for opportunities, brokerage opportunities, where there's going to be leads.
Yeah.
And so we knew that has to be a priority. Somehow we've got to figure out lead generation. So one of the things that we've done to help with that is we formed a partnership with 12 different lead generation companies. So when agents sign on with us the very first day, we recommend they sign up for leads from all 12 of these different companies. So there's going to be companies like OpCity, HomeLight, Ojo, a bunch of them. And so then they sign up, they're free leads up front. And then if they close the deal, then they get then they pay a referral fee to that company of 25 or 30%. So that's kept our agents really busy.
That's
So,
awesome.
It's fantastic. Well, that's amazing. I think you really do have a tremendous amount of value between the leads and the technology, and I mean just everything. It's really amazing. But I'm curious to know, going back to when you started, and I know there was a sort of missional aspect to it, but sometimes your why can change over time. What would you say your why, or what gets you out of bed these days?
Yeah, that's a good question. I touched on it briefly, but one of the big things that is central to our existence, our DNA, is to help people. So, we help our agents with the pricing, they help their clients, but on a broader, maybe deeper level, one of our core values is to help alleviate suffering on the planet. So that has to do with orphan care, has to do with helping the homeless, has to do with disaster relief, international and global, as well as local and national. So
I love that.
So we're involved in all those things, and we've been fortunate to have money passing through our brokerage, and we try to use that as a funnel to funnel money into helping alleviate suffering on the planet.
That's amazing.
That's really at the core, our real heartbeat. So
Yeah. Well, I know that to be true because you and I got connected. It's fun that we finally got to meet in person, but we got connected like 4 years ago through our mutual friend Casey here at Back to Back, which is, we're here in Back to Back studio, which is making this even more fun.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yeah. What a blessing to go on some of those mission trips. And then we've become supporters of Back to Back and other orphan type awareness ministries as well.
Yeah.
So
I love that. You got to go on a trip with Back to Back, didn't you?
A couple of them.
Yeah. Where'd you go?
Monterey. Both of our trips were Monterey.
Nice.
So went with our kids one time, went with just a group from our church one time, and then my wife has been on a couple trips as well. So
That's so cool.
yeah,
I've been to Monterey a few times myself.
I bet you have.
Yep. That's awesome. Well, tell us a little bit more about your family. You mentioned them, and we didn't get to talk about that earlier, so I'd love to hear.
Yeah. I'm an empty nester now, and we've got 5 kids, and so I always thought my whole purpose was kind of wrapped up in my kids. Like, okay, once they get out of high school, I guess my life is over. and then I found out, oh wait, no, they need help getting through college.
Right.
So then I thought, well, once they get out of college, then my life is kind of over. And it's like, oh no, now they're getting married.
Yeah.
So I had to be a part of that. And then, oh wait, no, now they're having kids.
Yeah.
So it turns out this parenting thing is kind of a long-term proposition.
There it is.
Have a long-term commitment.
So it's so that's a big part of our lives. And so we actually, we bought some land outside in Loveland this year, or no, not this year, 2 years ago, and we've tried to make our home kind of the crash pad on the weekend, so
Nice.
our kids and their families can all kind of crash out there in the country with us. So
That's awesome.
Fun.
that's been a blessing. So
I bet.
yeah, got a couple dogs. They love the
Uh-huh.
country.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, that's super
So-
fun.
yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
That's
So
awesome.
Cool. How long you been married?
oh gosh, 18 years.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah, we're a blended family. So
Nice.
we
Nice.
we were a Brady Bunch family there. So
Love it. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, we would love to ask some advice of you. But before we do, going back to back, since we are here in their space, we love to give them a little shout out. Back to Back Ministries is a global nonprofit orphan care ministry with their sights set on providing care for today and hope for every tomorrow. From Cincinnati, Ohio to Hyderabad, India, staff teams around the world are stepping into hard stories and choosing to stay. To learn more about the work Back to Back does, how you can get involved, and why a global team won't stop until every child is known and loved, visit backtoback.org today. near and dear to our hearts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So with that said, let's talk advice. So I want to hear what kind of advice you have for agents who are maybe kind of struggling in the business right now, and they're kind of looking for, they might even be thinking about getting out.
Yeah.
With the way things are. What advice would you have for them?
Yeah, that's a good question. The big thing right now, the market has been crazy, and everybody knows that right now. It's literally in the last 12 months, it's registered as basically the worst market in the last 20 years. So if agents are in it now, I would say don't give up. I would say hang in there. And the reality is about 25% of agents have gotten out of the business in the past 12 months in nationwide. And so that's good news.
It is.
Because it wasn't, the top 25%, we're getting rid of, the bottom 25. That's fine.
Right.
Don't be in the bottom 25%.
Yeah.
But the reason why that's good news, they're also projecting that sales are supposed to increase about 12% over the next 12 months.
That is good
So so if you have 25% of agents getting out, and there's going to be 12% more sales, that all turns into a lot more opportunity.
Absolutely.
So I would encourage agents to stay in there. But the key to it also is to cut your overhead. Like honestly understand you're running a business.
Right.
So cut your overhead and understand that broker expense, that broker fee, as a line item on their P&L. That they don't have to pay all that money.
That's right.
To have a business. So
yeah, Chris, do you know anybody who could maybe help them with that?
Yeah, we can definitely help out.
Definitely lead them in the right direction, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's crushing to be in a brokerage where they're taking 30% of your commissions or tens of thousands of dollars.
Right.
It can crush your business. So there's never been a more important time for a 100% commission option.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
yeah, that'd be my advice.
Yeah.
So agents,
That's
if you're
awesome.
spending more than, what was it, 37?
Yeah, more than $3,300.
$3,300 a year at your brokerage, give my man Chris a call.
Yeah, absolutely. You might even get a free lunch out of it.
That's right. I'll buy you lunch. What else do you need?
Yeah, I venture a guess to say that you're probably not sending 5,000 emails anymore.
Yeah.
But you're definitely not the cheap brokerage, that's for sure. So it's been awesome following your growth and seeing, you've just been staying on the line, man. And it's, you're true to your path, and you've been true to your word too, which is really, really refreshing in this industry too. So thank you for that. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just keep showing up.
Yeah.
Every day. Just keep cranking it out.
that's
So,
awesome.
consistency, and that's the same way for agents.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep showing up. So
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Chris, thank you for everything, man.
really great
Appreciate
chatting
you.
with you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. So.
Thanks, Chris.
Best of luck.
Thanks for listening to the Cincinnati Real Producers Podcast, powered by Nextdoor Photos. We do this every week, so be sure to subscribe so you can follow along. If you liked our conversation, leave us a review. We'd love to hear your thoughts.